Hi and good afternoon. This is Roxy from Odyssey of Ascension, and it's Friday's channeling, and thank you for tuning in. So let's see what we have for us today. And good day once again. This is Ocyphius from the Oversoul Collective Fire, offering you our next understanding and our perspective of that of space-time now, of that of expansion, of that of humanity, however you deem it as a definition on what you're going through right now. Truly what you're going through in and of itself, always go back to the simplicity answer to yourself. I am experiencing. You are always becoming more. Remember that. No matter what comes into your reality, it is an offering, and how you perceive that offering, once again, makes no difference. In and of itself, it will always be that of expansion, that of experience. You will be filling your container that much more every single minute second of the now. You are, let's say, weaving, furthering your fabric of life. You're creating, once again, your tapestry. You are telling your story to the world on how you perceive it, how you act, how you think, how you feel. Every emotion that is gifted to humanity is in and of itself part of the fabric of life. Never discount this. Never discount you are experiencing. The 3D logical mind always questions. It questions why, what does, how should, anything that keeps you sustained in the now of, let's say, not letting it happen. You are still continuing in the now, but what you are doing is slowing your thoughts down, always trying to conceive an idea of what it means. Why is this happening? Anything of that, let's say, nature that takes you away from the offerings that is around you at all times, at different frequency levels in offering that are most certainly once again available. We always want you to stop, step back, and look at the large, grand illusion from your highest self, the observer of the game. It is just a matter of shifting conscience, not from the one down here playing the game, always trying to solve a problem in time, only leading to more conflict in time. Because everything that you predict is a possibility, but never the truth until the now of occurrence. So in time is only, once again, conflict. Keep yourself boiling in this moment of what, should, how, does, All of these questioning ideas are all perpetuating from the past, always looking for a secure future, something tangible, a foothold to go to the next step. When the next step is just now, the being, the nothing, the no definitions, the perfection of the moment. And pulling yourself back out of time into the now is a practicum. You have all set up a series of, let's say, challenges that give you minute, little tiny bits and pieces, if you will, of reasons to stay in the now and not worry about the very next second in time forward. Because there's nothing there except now. And when you get to that now, you will once again be now. It is all just the simplicity of the now. The perfection of the moment, the experience of the higher self. There was a question that we had in regards to conscious selves, and we're going to elaborate on some of these ideas here in a minute. Let's look at this perspective. The question was, in a way, that of Angela. She had this idea. if I am this probable self, the official you see in the mirror, what about my other selves of this incarnation? So does that personality complex, that is my probable self in a parallel lifetime, a parallel, let's say, Earth, a parallel timeline, yet it is still this incarnation that somewhere chose and the two separated? Most certainly that is occurring. What it is when, let's say, that of Daryl Inca through Bashar through Daryl rather, is that you're shifting, as well as echoing Seth, shifting consciousness billion times of seconds. It is the higher self giving energy, shifting conscience in the now moments to all of the billions of yous. You're one giving energy to all of the yous. And each individual you is playing out that timeline. It is still you, but now you must not look at the separate self down here. Go back to the higher self and see that you are energizing this one. We'll give you an example. Let's say at the age of 5, Angela, you had an opportunity to go and play and stay at home. You chose to play. Go out with your friends and play, so to speak. If you would have stayed home, you would have had a different experience. You went outside, you rode your bike, you fell and skinned your knee and came back home and you cried and all that stuff. Childhood, wonderful wonderments of growing up. Now, on the parallel lifetime, you chose not to go outside. Your higher self, you, from the higher self perspective, played out that you as well, where you stayed inside and had a tea party with your mother. You had your little dollies around your table and you had a little tea party. There were still two yous, but they're both you from the higher perspective, giving energy and every single billions of moments, shifting all of those lifetimes, all of those yous, giving energy, consciousness to both of them at that time, as well as everyone else that you were when you shifted and decided not to go to the bathroom, made a choice, and decided to go to the bathroom. Those are another two separate yous, experiencing every single fabric of life, every single opportunity. You are filling yourself beyond comprehension right now, but now you are, let's say, allowing the tickling idea of how many yous you truly are. Billions. This official body of you see that is Roxanne, most certainly, once again, we have discussed this, there is a Roy still out there playing out the lifetime. There's a Roxanne that chose to take the money she had and had facial feminization idea and chose to, let's say, be a transgender and never wake up. That, let's say, Roxanne, that Roy that stayed married way back then is living that life, but it is all the higher self playing those out. This is the official one that you all are experiencing. This Roxanne. The other ones are other variations of other co-creations, experiences that are on that vibrational earth with that, let's say, version of Roxanne or version of Roy. There are still versions of, let's say, people in her past that have versions that are co-creating on this parallel earth as well as that parallel earth. Because that higher self is still co-creating over there, in conjunction with themselves over here, and giving that experience to this official you that interacts with this Roxanne, and that person over there interacting with that Roxanne, and they co-create in dream state to give everyone the fullest benefit of creation in every now. There is no wasted times. You are billions of selves. Now, that's just this self. Now, what about your past selves and all of those selves' lifetimes as well? Billions of them, and billions of them, and billions of them. Remember, there is no space-time. It's all an illusion. So you don't run out of space and you don't run out of time. You are infinite and forever. Now you're kind of getting a big picture on how grand you are. Each one of those individuals has its own idea of itself in self-awareness, ego complex, feelings, emotion, everything, as if you were there. But you are there, but under that complex and that belief system and that lifetime and those experiencing filling it. but it is not the official you here. It is the highest you being that which you are being this as well. But this person doesn't know that person in fullness unless, now, very much in play, you can shift conscience and understand that timeline. Understand that personality complex and understand the, let's say, experience, indirect memory, because that's in play, of that life, of that official you, paralleled, future and past lives, as well as all the other incarnations you are playing at. You are so grand, so large, the entity that you are is endless. But you're looking at it in such a, let's say, massive idea of the endless spider web. You are all connected down to the center, and you are going out in infinite number of directions. And all of those are spawning again and spawning again and spawning again. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything set. There's no set. It just is. You are always in the isness of now experiencing yourself from all of your choices going this way or that way. Driving to work, let's say you took a shortcut. The regular other, let's say, venue or avenue you took also to experience those two. This one ended up maybe with a speeding ticket, but met a police officer and ended up marrying him. Or this one over here got into an accident or stopped at the store and met an old friend from high school. Doesn't matter. You're living out all of those lives, and each one of you have the same idea of you, however, from a different point of view. A different belief system, a different ego construct, once again. But this official you woke up. Now, there's also other official yous that have woken up too, that are living on a parallel earth, doing their thing over there, and they're, let's say, we will call it, there is a merging. Let's say two of you, one of you here, let's say split off and come back together and let's say ignite each other. You meet back up and become one again, and taking both of the memories of both and making them one. As it seems, you've never separated lifetimes, but you did separate Earths for a while, get an experience over here, get an experience over here, and come back. These are two awake people now we're talking, for clarity. Come back at a space-time now and merge into that same person with memories from both timelines. And you will also encompass your other memories from other timelines into the official you as you are waking up. You do not have to think for 1 second, this is the only person you are. You are allowed now, if you will, to bring in more of yous in conscience shifting and taking that experience with full memory and, let's say, making it more of this official you. And don't think you are grander anywhere else, because that is you from a different perspective. And when it's all said and done on the official idea of humanity, you know them all. Because you are them all. So, Angela, all of you are the yous that you are perceiving. You are getting an idea of dream states, of, let's say, feeling, and that of Kathleen Russell as well, feeling yourself in another body. Yet it's you. You can feel the, let's say, the emotions. You can feel the experiencing. You know you're here, yet you feel everything over there. You are, let's say, absorbing that you into you. That kind of idea. Or you are just shifting over and getting everything from that and bringing it back to this you. And that you is still playing out its life. But now you have every experience of that lifetime in you. All of a sudden you, here we go. Yeah, we'll give him that. Remember, all of you, sometimes you get a memory out of nowhere. You completely forgot that. And then all of a sudden you remember this entire experience in your life. That's not a memory of the you that you are officially. That's the memory of a parallel you that you blended and, let's say, encompassed into your life, and then it's neatly fit into your life in a space-time now. Because it is you, but you just blended those two timelines. We are always blending timelines for the highest beneficial of humanity to further themselves into the unknown. We want to give you guys ideas of stuff that are nice and exciting, and when you're done, you are seeking that of the unknown. And once it is, let's say, a parallel lifetime that will, let's say, no longer serves you, you will blend it and give yourself that entire memory of that timeline and fit it into this official you. Why? How? How is that possible? I live somewhere else. No. What you do is give yourself, poof, the memory in the moment. And it contains and fits those experiences within your perception of reality and the fluidity of time. Do you really see you're kind of like maybe tickling the idea of how grand you are, how, let's say, epic a creator you are, how there are truly no limits, none, on the possibilities of what you can do for yourself that you are doing right now. You are now seeing different, let's say, abilities of you. But now, once again, you are throwing yourself into the unknown very excitingly. This is why you are allowed to feel these things, because you're open to the frequencies of all of this that's going on. Now you are really starting to see how much you guys are in the highest vibrational state, and now just starting to feel what it's truly like to be awake. Oh yes. And what you get to experience by the simplicity of allowance. There is no effort. There is no effort in Ascension. You are God. We don't make things hard for us. Truly. We shall take a break. This is Ocyphius. Let this dwell, chew on this for a while, if you will. And we'll get back in a few minutes of the now. I bid you a good day. Unknown. Wow, that was awesome. I was like, okay, I remember. Yeah.
But
Okay.
That's the whole point, is to be able to unify all of those into the one that we be.
Yeah, the one. Oh. Okay, we're going to take a break. Love you. Bye. Hi, and welcome back from break. Here we go. Part D. God, there's this huge energy right here. And it's like, wow. It's like high. Oof. It's been a while. I thought I'd step in and say hello to you guys again. That's, let's say, that papaya idea that we are. You remember me, and I remember you, of course, because we co-created it many times and many nows in many ways. The intimacy of oneness. Let's talk about how one you are. All of the reflections in the mirror, of course, are you. Not so hard to grasp in that idea. But can you really truly look beyond that in your co-creational 360-degree bubble and say, I am that over there? I am that experience. I am that oneness. I am that entity. Now, we all know we all have, let's say, individual perspectives of ourselves. The individual singularity. You will always be you. But most certainly you experience through that connection, that understanding, that idea of yourself through others. You are the oneness of all. What do we mean by this that, let's say, would benefit you? Let's take into account. I feel something. In that you are radiating out into the collective your feeling. So let's put it in the context of self-perception. Many of you are experiencing, let's say, feelings of dread sometimes, feelings of negativity. And you were saying, who does this belong to? As like say Rita would say. It belongs to you, most certainly, but it is you in a way of the oneness, but not you in the way of individual singularity most times. At this point of now, remember, don't play on history, always stay in the now. So what we mean by that is when you are feeling another person, you are truly connecting yourself with them in the idea, in the infancy stages, if you will, of the avatar modal we've spoke of, the practicum, of being and feeling that person. You are taking on, but not, let's say, taking on an obligation. No, let's not play that game. You are taking on the feelings because you are connected more and more with the oneness. And with that, you are feeling the experience of someone in you, in your vibrational state, I should say, your co-creation, as well as someone on the other side of the world, as well as someone in the next universe, in the next galaxy, in the next density, in the next dimension. They might only be little tiny hints. Sometimes you get feelings of anxiety, very exciting yet fearful, apprehensive, that kind of idea. And you can't equate it to anything in your now, because you're always looking for a meaning of something. Now it's time truly, once again, to let go of anything that has meaning. All meanings are presented on a silver platter with no effort. All epiphanies are appointments with the now. Let them come, they will most certainly by being now. Now, in that idea, you are looking for what it is, how does it equate, how did I cause this, forget that. Just know that you are connected more with the all. It would not be within your frequency band if you could not quote, and we're going to use this kind of idea of a limitation, handle it. You give it love, you give it peace, you give it joy, you give it what it's not. It is fear, you give it love. And then that transmutes it immediately, sending that signal, if you will, back to the one that is projecting it and heal it. This is the idea of, pardon me, long distance healing, a modality you've been using, let's say for the last 10 years, have been pretty solid with that. You can most certainly heal in distance, but where is everything? Right here. And when is everything? Right now. There is no over there. You are that intimately connected. You are just now becoming aware of that. That you are in a co-creation state of the one. There is no separation. There is only perspective from you. That's your individual gift. To perceive everything from the official you, as well as Ocyphius was talking about all the other yous doing the same. To get the fullness of experience. To get the fullness of your soul filling, if you will. So when you feel something that doesn't equate to anything in your reality, know that it's you just in the simplest, let's say, the simplest way of understanding it. Know that you are connected to the all. You don't need to know where it comes from. You don't need to define it and categorize it. All you need to do is love it. Because that heals that much quicker. The illusion. Whenever it doesn't feel right, love it. Embrace it. Hold on to it. Be it. And that'll dissolve it into what it is. Love. It'll tear down its own walls. Because it cannot sustain the same frequency when you give it love. Because it is that of fear. The illusion. The choosing that you chose. Most certainly. Now, so, we know that we are one. We know that yet we are individuals. We are unique to the perspective of ourselves. Yet we all feel each other at the same time. Every single thought you have, I know. All I do is tune into it. That's it. I feel it all. Too much for you to handle? In this idea of humanity, oh yes. Seems like a big bombardment. Too much to handle. That's where logic needs to check everything off and make sure everything is comfy. But as you are just slipping into the now, it all comes and all you do is be that. Love it. There's nothing else. There's no effort. And that sends that signal back out once again and heals that part of the illusion and that part and that part. So when something comes into your reality that's no longer preferred, of course, in your vibrational state of now, you just love it. And that will rather give it that reflection of what it forgot. The recognition in the mirror that it is love. No longer choosing to be that of the illusion and dissipating into everything. Nothing. However you choose to define it doesn't matter. So understand that you are now knowing, not just, let's say, believing, from this new awareness that you are that intimately connected. Now, we would like to discuss, yes? Yes. All right. Stand by. I'm going to, let's say, allow another to come in, of course. Stand by. Ocyphius is asking the time, Rita.
We're at 10 minutes.
All right, plenty of time. We would have you understand this. The new human, it is, let's say, barely there. The reason what spawned this idea, and we decided to jump in at this time because the frequency was, let's say, allowing it. The new human, the word was triggered, this idea, this timeline, this what you're experiencing that you all have chosen, if you will. The new human is intimate. Now what I mean by that, it's interesting how we're going to describe this, because we are looking at words right now to make sure in that fashion we give you the most tangible, graspable, beneficial, equatable idea to your belief and understanding of the framework that you're working within. The new human is beyond what you think humanity is going. If you could just erase your world and trust the feeling of the intimate one that humanity is becoming, you are going to be a civilization of complete effortless. You are going to have technology that will do, quote, everything for you. You will have ideas of physical movement, most assuredly. You will still have your games, your sports, and those such things. And they won't transmute into your ideas of your television shows on, let's say, future sports. They will stay within the context for many years to come on what you see right now. That's your physical, but it will be taken in a different context of, not of win-lose, of, let's say, expression is the best way to say that. You will be an effortless society. You will be creators from thinking thought, let's say expression of willingness. You will have very comfortable, let's say, accommodations, not rich and gaudy, but very, let's say, beautiful, functional. Let's say there will be no need for roads, no need for transportation, for teleporters will be in play. There's no, let's say, distance. You don't need to drive anywhere. And we're talking in a little bit of time, of course. But we want you to start birthing this idea within you. And what we are doing right now, and we're talking we as all that is, let's say, that are focused in this now, is sending you images of what the new human being will be. That of epic creators, yet effortless. Everything is motion, everything is thought. Let's say the physical ideas of buildings and such will come in ease, and manufacturing and technology will do all of it. You will not have your idea of, let's say, of iRobot. You won't have your robot butlers around. The house itself is a robot. Everything you say and think, most assuredly we'll go to that, will be done for you. It will be an idea of, let's say, a lucid dream state. You will always be in, let's say, love, perfection. There's no controversy in your life. You're only pulling in creation. Now, we feel in this time your questioning of yourselves on what can possibly we create. Because you're looking for something from the past on where it's going to go. This is what we mean by erase. Everything that you really think is real. For all of this realness is creation from the past. Where you are going can be so epic, will be so epic, beyond imagination. It is not really tangible. It is only, let's say, a cusp. There's whispers of it in the corner of where humanity is taking itself. You will start with the idea of motion and computers, facial recognition. But see, the idea is there won't be no security. There's none of that negativity, none of the polarity. Everyone is allowed to be themselves. You are all awake on this 4D Earth. The 3D Earth is going to finish their, let's say, finish their space-time out. The 4D Earth. That new human being, the effortless creator, will bring, let's say, ideas of the 4D, 3D together in a quasi-state. Being shifting here and shifting up there and back and forth and stuff like that. There will be dimensions and densities right on top of each other to where you can shift in and out of space-time nows. In other words, just changing the program of your holodeck and then giving you a new experience. But we want to encompass the idea of the intimate human being. Take out the word romance with intimate. Let that go. Okay? You guys are, let's say, humanity. Your, let's say, soul urging that is in you is to be connected in a loving way. To be, let's say, not so separate from each other. You birth your ideas of this urges through romance, most certainly. That's why many of you have so many failed relationships, because you're urging yourself to experience the intimacy of another, but you're translating intimacy with romance. When it just, let's say, could be wonderful best friends, but at a different level that you can't quite comprehend yet. The physical, let's say, representation of being one with another, with nothing except the love between you, but not the emotional love. The state of being love. This is a high concept, but you are masters. We are always bringing you to the next idea of yourself, so when you give it attention, it unfolds like a wave and washes over you. And then you can encompass this idea of frequency, which will only ping the now of the future into you, creating that now and this now with your practicums of being in the allowance of the now. And following your joy that comes in that creates this idea of the new human that is most assuredly coming. You have, let's say, a series of nows you have to let go of the dark cabal idea, the ones that are fighting, and you can most assuredly see they're fighting among each other now because they're losing their own ground, of course, and they're just going to self-destruct in that idea. And many, many, many of you will not experience that idea in any way, shape, or form because you will separate the earths. And that will be less and less understanding, or we should say, less and less perception of the 3D and 4D earths co-creating. So in that idea, they will play out as you are all being now, and we, let's say as Papaya has spoken of, knowing that that frequency that you cannot see with your eyes or experience in your 360 degree, let's say radar, know that's part of the illusion, sending it out, offering you that choice. And that choice, you give it love and it dissipates, only accelerating the 4D earth into more fullness and separating the two tracks, if you will. So in that idea, you can start to experience. Well, we would have you understand it's okay to touch each other. And we know that word touch sometimes has been used in a negative context. But you're allowed to hold hands. You're allowed to rub each other's feet. You're allowed to hug. You're allowed to connect because you've been so distant, you're yearning. But your only equatable way that was acceptable was that of romance. But that is ending. You are all best of friends. Most assuredly, every single one of you know each other for eons. You've co-created together so many times, you miss each other. So understand that you can allow yourself to be a different frequency of intimacy, leave out romance, love, and the emotional state, and be that and create that new human being that is in, let's say, an open air, climate controlled, outside, inside house, filled with fabrics, comfortable ideas of living, endless ideas of food. Everybody has it. And all the ideas of seeking ideas, let's say, that create materialism will go away. Because you know nothing out there defines you. Only you define you. And when you know that you love yourself, you need nothing on the outside except that of functionality of creation, of joy for you to experience until you're done to go on to the next now. So you will have your beautiful houses, your, let's say, dwellings. We're not going to say houses because that gives you a picture of a house. Your houses are going to completely change. Where you live, how you control the weather around you to have a day all day or a night all night. It's an illusion. It's a light show. You're going to change your reality to fit your comfortable world as you see it, yet experience it in third density, in the flesh. You will be on a 4D earth, but you have that wonderful DNA that everybody's after that gives you the ability to quasi, let's say, shift 4D, 3D, 4D, 3D. And we're not talking 3D earth. That's over there. We're talking the physical realm of third density while a 4D being. Keeping your body up there, if you will. Your image. Great things for you, humanity. But we just want to start with the simple idea of loving each other in a new way. And don't be, let's say, scared or threatened because someone wants to hold your hand or rub your hair. Give you little scratches. You're allowed to be loved. Oh yes. Yes. I will return you to Ocyphius. In our eternal thinks, we call, let's say, it's not a him or her, it's truly androgynous, the great wanderer. We will speak more in this frequency idea. in another space-time now. It was an honor. Most certainly. All right, this is all we have for this space-time now. Once again, this is Ocyphius from the Oversoul Collective Fire. An epic, epic moment once again for humanity to grab, to dwell, to allow, and to move on with your nows. I bid you a good moment. Adone. Every time it gets better. I love it. That was cool. It's a little, I saw The Great Wanderer looking, the pictures were amazing, but there's no real translation yet or something. But I think she did well, you know. Really cool. All right, guys, it's Friday. We'll get this up today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, if you need me, comment, email. You know, on my Odyssey of Ascension YouTube, click on the top banner is my what is it? Webpage. Snappy. Both sides working. And my phone number's on there, my Skype's on there, and of course my email. So if you have anything, give me a call, give me a buzz. Let's talk about it. Let's keep rocking this paradigm. I love you all. Mwah! Talk to you in the next now. Bye.